Imagine buildings that move, cities that reshape themselves, straight out of a sci-fi comic, right? But these were real ideas from a group called Archigram. They believed architecture should be fun, dynamic, and adaptable. Their colorful, tech-filled drawings challenged the dull, static buildings of their time. Archigram envisioned walking cities and plug-in homes, radical ideas from the 1960s that still feel futuristic. Even though most of their visions were never built, their impact is huge. Their work exploded with color and imagination, inspiring architects and dreamers everywhere. Let's step into the fantastic universe of Archigram, where the impossible always seems just around the corner. Archigram was a team of young, visionary British architects in 1960s London, a time of cultural revolution. The core members, Warren Chalk, Peter Cook, Dennis Crompton, David Green, Ron Heron and Michael Webb, shared radical ideas. Their DIY magazine, Archigram, was packed with bold graphics and futuristic sketches. They rebelled against traditional architecture, inspired by technology, pop art and space exploration. Archigram imagined buildings as flexible and fun as gadgets, responsive, personal and alive. Their legacy? A blueprint for creative rebellion in architecture. Archigram's most iconic idea, the walking city. Imagine a giant city on mechanical legs, roaming the landscape like a futuristic robot. Ron Heron dreamed up these mobile metropolises, self-contained communities that could move wherever needed. Walking cities could link up, form megacities, then split apart again. Think of a cruise ship, but as a whole city on legs. It was high-tech, nomadic living, a radical break from static cities. What if cities weren't permanent? What if our environment could move with us? The walking city is still an icon of visionary design. It's a reminder that architecture can be as bold as our wildest dreams. Next up, Plug-in City, Peter Cook's radical vision. Imagine a giant framework providing all the basics: power, water, transport. Homes, shops and offices are modular capsules. Plug them in, swap them out. Need a bigger home? Plug in a new module. Business expanding? Add more pods. The city is always evolving, never the same for long. Giant cranes constantly rearrange the urban landscape. Plug-in City embraced change, flexibility and consumer culture. In the 1960s, everything was becoming temporary. Why not buildings? It was architecture for a throwaway, customizable society. Personalize your space, update it as your needs change. Like Walking City, Plug-in City was never built. Too complex, too ambitious, but its influence is everywhere. Modular design, prefabrication, adaptable systems. It made architects rethink how cities could grow and change. Plug-in City highlighted the importance of infrastructure and flexibility. It inspired a new wave of dynamic, user-focused architecture. The idea cities should adapt to us, not the other way around. Plug-in City remains a powerful symbol of urban adaptability. It's a blueprint for a city that never stands still, and a reminder that architecture can be as flexible as life itself. Archigram's vision, a city that plugs into the future. Archigram's imagination didn't stop at walking or plug-in cities. The instant city brought urban excitement to small towns, giant airships delivering pop-up festivals and entertainment. The living pod, a tiny self-contained home like a personal spaceship, stackable or mobile, suitaloon, wearable, inflatable, shelter, architecture you could carry. These projects explored mobility, individuality and freedom. Archigram wanted architecture to support a nomadic lifestyle. Their designs were lightweight, temporary and playful, more like gadgets than buildings. They used collages and comic strips to tell their stories, making radical ideas accessible. Humor and pop culture references made their visions exciting, not intimidating. They weren't afraid to be utopian or even a bit silly. For Archigram, architecture was about sparking imagination and discussion. They proved that dreaming big could change the conversation. Archigram turned traditional architecture upside down. Instead of solid, permanent buildings, they designed for movement and change. They used modern materials, plastic, steel, inflatables for lightness and flexibility. Their focus shifted from monuments to everyday life. Architecture became about serving people's needs in a fast-paced world. Their buildings looked more like machines or living organisms than static boxes. Technology was front and center. Robotics, computers, even space travel. Pipes, wires and moving parts were celebrated, not hidden. Archigram drew inspiration from pop culture, sci-fi, and consumer goods. Bright colors, sleek forms, and comic book energy made their work vibrant and relevant. They broke away from history and nature as sources, looking instead to the future. Their designs captured the optimism and excitement of the 1960s. They made architecture cool, futuristic, and accessible. Archigram's rule-breaking spirit encouraged experimentation. They showed that buildings could be dynamic, responsive, and fun. Their work was a bold statement. Architecture doesn't have to be serious or static. It can be playful, adaptable, and full of life. They inspired architects to embrace new materials and ideas. Archigram's legacy, a new way of thinking about what buildings can be, and a reminder that breaking the rules can lead to innovation. If Archigram's cities were never built, why do they matter? Their real impact was in ideas, not construction. Archigram sparked a global conversation about what architecture could be. They challenged architects to question old rules and imagine new futures. Their magazines and exhibitions inspired a generation to experiment. They showed architecture could be social commentary and technological exploration. Their paper architecture opened minds and pushed boundaries. Think of them as R&D for the whole field, testing wild possibilities. Even unbuilt, their concepts, modularity, flexibility, user participation, shaped later movements. They highlighted the importance of technology and adaptability. Archigram's seeds grew into new ways of designing cities and buildings. They were masters of visual storytelling, using comics and advertising techniques. Their drawings made complex ideas accessible and exciting. They proved that architecture could capture the public imagination. Their legacy is about communication as much as design. They encouraged architects to share bold ideas with the world. Archigram's influence is everywhere, even if you don't see it in steel and glass. Their work reminds us, visionary thinking can change everything. Sometimes the most important buildings are the ones that exist only on paper, and the boldest ideas are the ones that last. Archigram's influence is everywhere in modern architecture. The Centre Pompidou in Paris, with its exposed pipes and flexible spaces, echoes their ideas. Modular construction and prefabrication, building blocks made in factories, are now common. Offices with movable walls, interactive museums, and playful public spaces all reflect Archigram's vision. Their love of bright colors and unconventional forms broke the mold of serious architecture. They made it okay for buildings to be fun, optimistic, and user-focused. Archigram encouraged architects to experiment and speculate about the future. Many architecture schools now teach students to think outside the box thanks to their example. Their spirit of research and radical design lives on. Archigram's legacy isn't just in buildings, it's in the way architects think. They showed that even unbuilt ideas can shape the world. Their playful, human-centered approach continues to inspire. Designers now prioritize experience, adaptability, and collaboration. The shift toward dynamic, responsive architecture owes much to Archigram. They proved that visionary thinking can become reality, even in small ways. Their work is a reminder. Architecture should serve people, not just impress them. The quest for a more flexible, human-centered city continues. Archigram's ideas are still pushing boundaries today. Their influence is global, shaping cities and minds alike. The future of architecture is still being written, and Archigram's fingerprints are all over it. Archigram's story is proof of the power of big dreams. Their wild visions, walking cities, plug-in homes, changed architecture forever. They showed that imagination is essential for progress. Even unbuilt, their ideas opened new ways of thinking about cities and life. Archigram's playful pop art style made complex ideas accessible to everyone. They invited the world to join their futuristic fantasies. Their true legacy is an attitude, fearless creativity, and endless curiosity. They taught us to ask, what if? And to never settle for the ordinary. Their questions still drive innovation today. Archigram's work encourages us to look beyond the obvious, to embrace new technologies and dream of better futures. Their influence isn't just in design, it's in the courage to imagine. They proved that even the wildest dreams can lay foundations for real change. Their architecture was about more than buildings, it was about possibilities. Archigram inspires us to build with bold ideas, not just bricks. Their story is a call to action for architects, students, and dreamers. Don't be afraid to imagine a different future. Sometimes the most outlandish visions are the ones that change the world. Archigram's fantastic architecture reminds us the future belongs to the bold, so keep dreaming and keep building one idea at a time.